Alright, we're back. Let's take a look at this this comb. You can see the wear that we've got here. Let's get this under some magnification and let's take a look here, so we can really get a good look at what our wear pattern looks like here. You'll notice as we get over to the edge here, you can see this is the back rail. You can see the depression into the wear there, as represented by that shiny spot. On the other side of the back rail, there is some wear, but not as much. And what this indicates is that there was more spring tension on this side of the spring than there was on the other. It's going to be really hard to tune spring tension that precisely to add more to one side of the cutter than the other. I showed you the spring tension procedure that I use in the last video, part 1. So just go with that, man, and bend them evenly, because like I say, trying to bend one side more than the other, you're going to get into issues with the cutter sitting on the comb canted one way or the other if you throw that off too far, and we don't want to get into that. That's a real pain in the butt. So let's just stick with the spring tension procedure that we have there and see how we end up. Let's look at the top rail here, and you can see some rust built up there, or gunk, or whatever we got, and you can see how shiny that surface is where the wear pattern has made itself known. And we're going to replace that with a nice even scratch pattern. So let's attempt to do that now. Let's take a look actually at the cutter, and let's see what she looks like as well. So let's get that separated. I'm not going to be able to see this on camera because I need 2 hands to do it. Alright, just stick a small flathead screwdriver in between the plastic, right at the back corner, right down here, and that'll separate for you. Let's see what we've got on the other side of this bad boy. Basically, same thing. We've got some chipping right there at the tips of the teeth, which is pretty normal, but you can just see how shiny this is. It is worn all the way through the scratch pattern. The scratches that were put there originally by the abrasive media on the plate from the factory. So get an idea what the front, and let's take a look at the rear. Why not? We're here, right? That's my fingernail. There we go. Just shiny. Needs to be sharpened. Alright, so let's make our way over to the plate. I think the way I've got this camera mount set up here, it's going to be adequate for us. Alright, so let's get on the plate. I hate that these videos are as long as they are, but I only have so many hands. Okay, so let's take a look here. I've got my magnet placed on the top, and you'll see that I'm kind of aft of the synapse between the front and the rear rail. That's kind of where I like to be, because I can get my balance very quickly on the plate, find my flush, my flat to the plate very quickly, and have an even amount of pressure applied to that. And then on the cutter side of things, I just reinstall the plastic little the piece that would normally touch the little shaft that sticks off the motor that actuates it. I adjust, or I put that right back on there, because this is easy to hold in place, and we're going to just apply a little bit of pressure right here with one finger. I hold it with 2, and a little bit of pressure right here towards the front. And when we actually get this cutter on the plate, we need to be in a certain spot, and man, the pressure is super light. I'll go with that in a second. Alright, so let's just get the comb on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to we need to propagate this hollow a little further back on the let me see if I'm on the camera here. We want to propagate the hollow a little bit further back than what we normally would, like let's say on an A5 blade. The pattern, the rub block pattern, which we'll try to get on here too. We'll try to show that after we get the sharpening done. We want that hollow to propagate a little further back, and the way we're going to do that is, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see this on camera. You can see where my laser is on. Let me see if that. Yeah, I think it's showing up. We'll go with it. Where the laser is there. Normally, I would have that laser right in the middle of that synapse between the front and the rear rail to make sure that I feel that we're going to propagate the hollow far enough back, because if you look at the pattern on an A5 when you propagate from the center, it usually is very, very close to the teeth in the front there on an A5 blade. But we want to scoot that hollow pattern back a little bit. Hopefully I'm showing you this visually enough where you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, and once we get to the rub block, it'll show up for us. Anyway, so let's get there. What we're going to do is we're going to move this blade forward. I'm going to have the laser line about there is where I want to be, to propagate that hollow further back, to give us a much better chance of this thing cutting. I usually enter the plate from closer to the middle, and the reason why I do that is not for what it does for the hollow, because that would be the wrong spot to stop for sure. Your hollow would be way too deep for this 5-in-1. But what it does is it doesn't put, when you enter the plate, you usually put a lot of wear because you're trying to find that flat. So I sat down here to save my plate as much as possible. So let's just go through this and then shut up and stop talking. I'm going to go about right here. I'll sit down and I'm going to do even pressure, and I'm looking for that spark pattern to clean up and look very flush all the way across. And it looks like we're good there, so I'm going to come off the plate and let's see what we got here. I am very happy with that. Looks like we've got done what we wanted to get done there. The scratch pattern looks very even from the back all the way to the front. Come on, to the front, all the way to the back there. Yep. All right, so let's get her blown off here. I'm just going to blow it. I don't want to touch any of these surfaces with my fingertips at all. I'm just going to blow that out, and then we're going to go to, I've got my demag set up on a foot pedal down there. So we'll go over here, we'll just go ahead and demag that. A couple swipes, and then we're going to use a microfiber and just trying to clean that up a little bit. And then from there, we're going to go directly to our rub block. Okay, rub block, I'm sure you know what that is. I like to do a little bit of brake cleaner to make sure we don't have any oil or anything built up on this where it scratches in very quickly, and we get a nice, hopefully get a nice, get that cleaned off. There's no oil or anything debris. You can see it actually, that brake cleaner evaporate. That's how clean we want that thing. Alright, so let's take our comb half here. We're going to apply even pressure. We're just going to keep this thing flat a little bit more to the front. I'm not putting hardly any pressure on here, and we are going to just make some figure eights, if you will, and I can feel it. Feels like ice skates on a chalkboard, man. Fingernails on a chalkboard. Try to stay as clean as we can, and let's see if we can see what this hollow pattern looks like. It's so hard to see, man. No, it's not going to show up for me. Well, dad blasted. That was a big one that I really wanted to show you guys. It's all about lighting, man, on these rub patterns. I can see it here with the lighting that I have, but I doubt it's going to show up on camera. Basically, what you're going to have here is you're going to have the hollow is going to show up as the scratch pattern is going to still be there, and then at the very tips, you're going to see it get a little bit more shiny. It's just like a ghostly pattern that you're going to see show up. And like I say, I can see it here, and I can, in the camera, it looks like you can barely see the tips are a little bit further back, but I can actually see the round of the hollow as I catch it in the, you know what, whatever. Okay, that was a bust. I was hoping that was going to go better. Anyway, let's go on back to the plate, and let's get this this cutter on here. And what I'm going to do is, you can see I got the machine running at full 60 hertz. What I like to do is I'm going to turn it all the way down. We're going to come down to 30 hertz. And what that's going to do is slow my plate way down and slow the surface speed way down, all the way out at the outside edge of the plate. And the reason for that is we don't want to remove a whole lot of material. This cutter is super thin, man, and all we're trying to do is take off enough material that we establish a burr from the tip to the bottom of these teeth, all the way across, so that we know we've got a good fresh area for those two burrs to meet between these two pieces. So in the words of Dennis Brooks, he had a really good description of the amount of pressure that needs to be applied here. Think about touching your eyeball with your eyelid with your eyeball closed, and what would be comfortable if you were to do that. If you were to place your fingertip on your eyelid as your eyeball was closed, or your eyelid was closed on your eyeball, it would be comfortable. I mean, it's probably half a pound or less. What we're trying to do here is we're just trying to get on the plate, and I'm going to as well propagate this hollow. I'm going to scoot in relation to center line on the radius. I'm going to scoot this forward just a little bit center of that synapse. I want to be about here, right? And we want to make sure that we're lined up straight across there. Now I'm going to get all the way out to the edge of this plate, and I'm going to try to get this on camera. But I mean, literally, all I'm doing is I'm going to set down evenly and flush, and I'm just going to barely touch it to the plate. And that's it, man. That's all we want to remove. And let's get in the light here. And I can see over on this, I don't know if the light's going to show this or not. If I get it just right. Man, shit, this sucks trying to make it show up on camera. But I did not get all the way to the teeth on this right-hand side. Let's see if it shows up on the microscope. And this video is going to get long here. But you know what? I think this is all important for you to know all of these different things to do this procedure properly. Let's see if this shows up on microscope. I'm not having a whole lot of luck with my okay. Let me get a little closer to this. Alright, let's really get on this scratch pattern if we can. Alright, that's a little better. You can see some of the lateral scratches that are still here. Man. There we go. Let me get over here. Maybe we have a little less vibration and it might show up a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, let's get a good look at this. You can see the scratch pattern has propagated. At the end of the teeth, we still have some nicks and some chips. We definitely have not gone far enough, and you can see those horizontal scratches that are there. That is wear that is still in place on this that we have not removed. Another chip right up there at the tip, that's got to go bye-bye. So we definitely have a little bit more material. You can see the burr starting to form. It looks, that little silver line at the bottom of the teeth down there, that's the burr actually starting to form. My goodness, this video is going to be 100 years long, but all right, I'm going to go back to the plate where I can really concentrate and get the rest of this out of here instead of trying to do it one-handed and while I'm talking. And but you saw the procedure, and you see the amount of material that I have removed here, and I'll go ahead and go to that, and then we'll get back underneath the microscope. I'm going to go off camera for a minute and we'll make another video. I hate to do that, but shit, this is going to be 100 years long if I don't do that.